Hello, and welcome back to part 3 of the wrap-up of my chat with Paddy Rasmussen. She's an interior designer and recreation specialist, and also a co-author of the book From Resilience to Brilliance. Paddy has shared her story of loss and grief after losing her husband and her father in the same year. And today we're going to hear what you wish you'd known before these life events turned her world upside down, and what lessons she's learned as she's moved on with her life, with her children, and her work. I'm María Tomás-Keegan, and this is part of my continuing series of interviews with inspiring women who have stories to tell and are role models for the rest of us when it comes to learning to thrive. Paddy, I have a 3-part question for you. See if you can keep up.
Okay.
What do you wish you had known before all this happened? What have you learned that will help others? And how has this helped the work you do now?
Well, I wish I would have known about the waiting room, about getting stuck. You're stuck emotionally and you don't realize you're stuck. You think you're going through, the motions of life, and you're coping and staying busy, but emotionally you're not fully engaged in your new life. So you're kind of in limbo, like you kind of like you're in a fog, and you don't realize you're in the fog emotionally, but you're numb. So I think if I would have known about the waiting room, then it would have prepared me that, okay, this is part of the grieving process, and there's not a timeline on grief, and everyone works through the process differently. But just realizing that I would get stuck, and then realizing, well, how am I going to get out of the waiting room? And then working through that process. So you have to think about, what's your purpose now? Your plan A didn't work out. So what does plan B look like? And how can you empower yourself and envision yourself with your new life? What does that look like? And to have the courage to take the action and to overcome the fear and take calculated risks. So really think about what's going to bring you purpose. What are you passionate about? What's going to bring you joy?
That's so powerful. What are you passionate about? What's going to bring you joy? That waiting room, it occurs to me, is like a necessary stop on that journey through grief, right?
Yes, unfortunately it is. And I didn't realize it until I was reading a book about it, and I realized that I was in the waiting room. The light bulb went off, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the waiting room. How am I going to get out of the waiting room? I need to get out of the waiting room. So what will my new life look like? What am I thinking? What am I envisioning for myself? Right. You have to empower yourself. What are those? You have to really dig deep within yourself and think about all the things that you've gone through. Think about what's serving you and what is no longer serving you. Maybe you need to let go of things and friends and stuff and people that are no longer serving you. If they're not in line with where you want to be in your new life, then you might have to let them go.
That's a really good point. Yeah, really, really good point. Surrounding yourself with things and people who support you on the journey you're headed on now.
Right. You need that support system. You need some stable people in your life that are going to be your constants, that are going to have your back. They're going to be your advocates. They're going to help you through the process.
Yeah.
It might be some grief counselors at first, or it just might be going to some grief camps. It might be meeting other people that were widowed or other people that have experienced loss, that you can learn through the process together and help each other through it.
Yeah, perfect. That's beautiful. What else? Tell me, what else what are the,
Well, besides I had yoga. I always had yoga. I had my physical outlet. That was always good. I had faith, always had faith. But it's not necessarily religion. It's faith in yourself, faith in others, having trust in others. You know, when you experience loss, sometimes it's hard to trust people again, because how do you know that you're not going to lose them? So you have to take that risk and overcome that fear that I can confide in them. You know, there's no guarantees in life. You don't know, you never know when you're going to pass, really. But that's out of our control. So we have to focus on what we can control. And we need to focus on just being and living the new life. What's going to make you happy? And taking some time, carving out some time for yourself to just be, to breathe, find clarity, self-love, self-care. And along with that, you want balance in your life. You know, you want to, your life is short. Life, there's, you know, don't let life get the best of you. Enjoy your friends and family. And then also appreciate, look back at, if you can get to a point with your grief that you can look back at, and what was that I'm sure you miss that person. I miss Jack. I miss my husband. I miss my dad. But what gift did they leave you? And what can you share? How can you share those good memories with the people and your family? And they will continue. They will live through the next generations, on and on and on. So what do we learn from them? What gift did they give us? And just to come from a place of gratefulness that we had, you know, I had 16 years of marriage, 17 years together with Jack. A lot of people never find true love. I found true love. I had a deep love with my husband. I have 2 beautiful children with him that I see on a regular basis, and he is living through them. And all of our family. You know, Jack touched all of us just like my dad touched us. And we have all those good memories to share. And we can laugh about it. We can laugh about those times and those little things.
Yeah.
You know, and have a sense of humor about life. Don't let life get the best of you. Life's way too short, and you always, you know, having a good sense of humor is so important.
You know, you're so right about all of that. And, you know, I love that you reminded us that it will take some time. You've got to get out of the waiting room. You've got to choose to get out of the waiting room. And you have to find what brings you joy now. And then as time goes along, the memories that we can bring back into our lives to feed us, to fuel us, and that we can share with the people who knew your loved one as well, will make all the difference in the world. And I love that you ended with humor. I think you're right. Life is way too short. We never know when it will be our time or somebody else's time that we love, and making the best of it today is a really important thing, I think. So thank you for those lessons, Paddy. I really appreciate it. I want to ask you, because I know there are going to be people who want to talk to you about what you do now and more about your story, which I know you give more of your story in the book itself. So I want to remind people to go find From Resilience to Brilliance. So what is the best way that our viewers can reach out to you? And if you just say it by magic, there will be a banner at the bottom of the screen with that written on it.
You know, the best way for them to get a hold of me is probably to go on my website, Helping People Move Forward, and they can read my story. They can read all about my blogs and how I've gone to work through the process, how I ended up getting out of the waiting room, and how I help others transition so they can move forward with their lives too.
So it's helpingpeoplemoveforward.com.
That's right.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful that you chose to share your story with us, Paddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Now, I would like to leave you with just one last thought. It is my deep desire for these conversations that I have with women like Paddy to help others know that they are not alone. Many of us have gone through similar experiences in life that have turned our worlds upside down, and we're here now to help. I believe that it is our time to thrive, and I hope you'll join me on that journey. Till next time, I'm María Tomás-Keegan.